Hello, it's a man's world, FTM1. This is Kai for week 50. It's technically week 49 because I missed a week and I compressed some weeks. But dudes, it has been almost a year. 2 more weeks. Well, till the non-technical year. At least I'll finish a year's worth of videos or something. Anyway, this week's topic is labels. And the reason why I'm not doing this from the comfort of my home is that yesterday I got really busy and I worked today, which is rare. I don't usually work on Sundays. And I will be gone all day. So I'm stuck making the video in the car. And I apologize sincerely. This is my face and you love it. Thank you, fans. Yeah, I shouldn't make videos early in the morning. It's like the earliest I've been up in like 2 months or something. It's crazy. Labels. Overall, and then I ask you, how do you feel about being labeled with gender identity disorder? Meh. I don't really care. I mean, I've been called worse. The cool thing about labels is that they're just an easy way of standardizing what something is. Okay? Human beings are limited, at least in how their mind works. So if we all say, look, a box, you know, there's many different kinds of boxes. There's tall boxes, there's thin boxes, there's fat boxes, there's purple boxes, there's brown boxes. You know, boxes come in a plethora, star-shaped boxes. I mean, they come in many sizes, and they come in many styles, and they come in many colors, and many purposes. You know, a little box or a giant box. Boxes come in many flavors. You can even call other things that aren't boxes, you can also call them boxes. Maybe somebody calls their junk their box because they keep things in it. You know, and that's a misappropriation of the word, but in some circles it might be understood to mean that. Okay, but if you think about it, box is a very simple term. It's 3 letters. It generally means a thing that can hold other things. And then you can get very specific. You can add adjectives to that and say what kind of box it is. Or you can even go deeper into the kind of box it is and be specific. It is a chest. A chest is technically a box. It's the thing that you hold things in. But it's a specific type of chest. And even though chests come in many different shapes and sizes, including with areolas and not, you know, the idea when someone says chest, depending on the context, is going to be like a treasure chest, or, you know, an antique chest that like your grandmother put shit in, or, you know, B-cups or whatever, you know, or you know, pecs. These are all things that chests means. What are we discovering from this? It's helpful that I can say a word and you can understand the spirit of my meaning. When I say a box, you understand, you imagine a box in your head maybe, and you'll picture one. Maybe you'll picture like a box from FedEx, or maybe you'll picture like that box you have in your bedroom where you keep all your family photos, you know, but you'll understand the essence of what I'm saying. You'll understand I'm talking about a box. But what have we discovered? What is the downside of this? Box is not very specific. So if I say that, oh, I'm a box, well, there are times when things are inside of me. I hold food inside of me when I eat it, and, you know, the aftermath of food, you know, but I'm also animate, so it's a bit of a misappropriation of the term, unless you're just weird. But the point is, language is cool because by using one word, we can all kind of get a basic idea of what that word would mean. But the experience is infinite and widely varied. So it's sad that at the same time, it limits what we're able to imagine or what a box could be. You know, and the same thing applies to gender identity disorder. It's a medical term that is being used so that doctors can say, well, this has happened. People don't agree with whatever gender they were born in. And so we have to give it a name. Because like Adam and Eve, we're just desperate about naming shit. That's kind of our shtick. Humans want to know what everything is and then discover it and then be like, I discovered it. This is the name and I gave it. Oh. They want to give it a name so that they can talk to each other and say, this is what happened. And they go, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have experiences with people who feel the same way. Well, let's call it GID. Okay. Well, it's, let's shorten it to GID because the actual name is way too long. It's a way of it's like jargon for them to be able to talk to each other and say, this is what's happening. Oh, I understand the context that you're talking about. And then for them to be able to do something about it. If I recognize it as an actual disease, then the medical community has to deal with it. They have to create solutions for how to cure it, or how to go about making it better, or to recognize that we are people who do have this thing that's happening. That we're not just this is like that you've been diagnosed. We've asked you questions and it turns out, yes, this is really something that you're feeling, as opposed to it's a whim that you just want to have a penis today. You know what I mean? It's limiting. It's nice that by using that word, they can give it like an ultimatum, like, yes, this person has met whatever criteria we determine in order to, go through this process that we've determined will help them with their problem. We're different. We're different from the norm, and therefore, I don't know if I would call it a disease, but it's definitely a condition. I mean, there's nothing wrong with us, but it's again, this is early days. They have to come up with something to call us in order to, I don't know, something. So it sucks that it's limiting. It sucks that they have to throw one title on all of us, but it helps them with communicating with each other, to create standards for care. It's a mixed bag. Personally, I don't give a shit. I understand why they're doing it, but I don't like labels in general. I tried very hard to fit into labels, and I'm just too different. I just don't. It doesn't work, Like, I tried being a lesbian for a while. No, didn't work. Tried being gay. I just like people who are, like, masculine and dudes, but there's chicks that I'm into. I'm not a big fan of labels because they don't work for me. I'm not precisely perfect to fit in some box or another. One of these is a hash, and that would be awesome. Okay, I was like, if they skimped on my hash, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. These are fighting words. I'm having breakfast early on Sunday. This doesn't happen ever, so appreciate the sight of me eating breakfast. I don't fit in the female box. We're talking about boxes before. I didn't fit in the lesbian box, and I don't quite fit in the gay box. I'm not quite an American, but I'm also not quite a foreigner. I'm not apolitical, but I'm not political. Boxes are just, but people who don't know me, I can't just be like, well, I'm male identified, masculine, sexual. I have to come up with words to describe myself if people ask me about me. Or I don't. I mean, I can just be like, none of your business, and that's fine too, but I'm the kind of person who likes to talk about me. So, I need to come up with words to say, this is who I am. Labels. Yeah, they're not perfect. Somebody said the word condescending to another person as part of a sentence. And they were like, condescending? I don't know what that means. I'm an idiot. Describe it to me. And so we're like, well, condescending means someone who thinks that they're better than you, and they look down their nose at you, and they're treating you in a way that makes you seem inferior. Like, they see you as inferior. And she goes, why couldn't you just have said that? Because if I say condescending, I don't have to say 27 other words to describe the fact that someone thinks they're better than you, or that whatever. So that's why we use the word condescending, which most people know. She just didn't. Because it makes it easier to communicate if I can express a complex thought of idea with one word. Gay. Well, it's a guy who, for the most part, likes being with other guys and sticking his penis in other people's butts. Or having their dicks in his butt. But I could just say gay or homosexual, and hey, look how much simpler my life just got because I could not say 80 words to tell you what I mean when I call somebody a gay or whatever. That's the problem with labels. They're helpful, but they're limiting. And sometimes they're necessary. And it's not something that you should get personally offended about. It's a medical term. They're just trying to standardize the fact that they don't want people taking advantage of you, and they want you being taken care of appropriately. And it's even become very lax as far as how they're going to treat them. But they have to have some way of passing on the knowledge of this is the kind of person that you're dealing with, and this is how they have to be helped, and this is the kind of steps that people usually take in order to accomplish this. So if we give it a label, that's possible. It makes it simpler to express ourselves and to pass knowledge between one person and another, or between one person and a group, or whatever. That's what it's for. It's not that they're telling you you're sick. That's a very emotional response to a medical treatment. Oh, there's something wrong with me, and they have to fix me, and so they told me that I'm broken. Well, you felt broken before, didn't you? Before you found out that you were transgender, you felt fucked up. You felt sad. You felt like you wanted to kill yourself. You were doing anything you could to hide from yourself and from who you were, and it took you years and years to get to where you are today. And if you had the language prior to you finding out, you would have probably found out much sooner. But the language is not common. The language is becoming common now. So why are you upset that they're just trying to use language in a limited way to express a wide and complex issue in order to help you better without, craziness? So that's all. I don't take it personally. It's not about me. I wasn't the one that were like, well, this person is fucked up and they have gender identity disorder. I understand that this is just a medical term they're using to describe me so that one doctor can talk about me to another doctor and they can all have the same idea of what the fuck is going on. I don't like labels because they're limiting. I also don't like radio buttons. I like checkboxes. I like being able to choose many things at the same time. I don't always have that option, though. Sometimes I have to use the radio buttons. Sometimes there aren't any radio buttons, that this is just an answer. So, it's just a radio button. They have to call it something, and that's what they called it. And don't take it personal. It's not about you. There is nothing wrong with you. I'm gonna go, but it's been a pleasure. Next weekend, I actually have time off, so I can actually make this video without showing you my McD's. Have a pleasant week. Week 50 with Kai. Happy week. It's Man's World. Happy week.